You ever wonder why people hide behind pain? Why they log on just to lash out? Maybe they're just lonely, maybe they just want to be seen. Yeah, this one's for the trolls. Yeah. You sit in the glow of your blue lit cave, fingers twitching, heart full of ache. Every word you type, baby, bleeds through the screen. You call it truth, but it's just what you mean. You a ghost with Wi-Fi, a shadow with a grudge, searching for love through the static and sludge. You say you don't care, but I can feel you cry. Every cruel word is just a lullaby to the pain you never healed inside. Who hurt you, baby? Who made you believe love was pain? You break what you crave, you hide behind names. But if I loved you right, would you still play the same? If you found what you need, would you change? Ooh. You crave touch, but you only know how to scratch. You want heat, but you burn every match. You talk in chaos, but you mean connection. Hurt people turn love into misdirection. You don't hate the world now, you just miss its warmth. You troll cause tenderness feels like a storm. Who hurt you? Was it the one who left too soon? Was it the silence that stayed in the room? Was it love with conditions, affection with strings that taught you to break what you wanted to keep? You ain't evil. You're empty. If I loved you whole, would you still run away? If you found what you need, would you change? Would you change? Would you change? Would you still take on a new persona? If love was finally real, would you drop the mask and let somebody feel you? Love don't knock on fake doors. So come out and breathe before you troll that too.
How crazy is it when you hear somebody say, yo, there's no entry without a vibe check? That is straight out of the spiritual hygiene for empaths rule book. This is your new joint that you're embarking on if you're an empath. If you start to feel things and you're taking on energy and you don't know how to balance that out. It's a learned thing, you know. It's learned. If you feel everything and then you already know the truth, this world does not ask before it enters your field, your auric field. Check if you slept or open or are you safe. It just shows up dripping with energy and expects you to deal with it. Nah, there's no entry without a vibe check. You see, when you're an empath, no entry is paramount because it's checking the boundary that you set. When you stop being a sponge and start being a gatekeeper, then that's when the switch can happen. Because now you writing your own spiritual hygiene rule book for 2026. You leaving that 2025 vibe behind you. You no longer are gonna subscribe to that. You feel me? That's what we're gonna talk about. Your energy is sacred, and your aura is not a hallway. Access to you that needs to be earned. This is your new rule book that you are creating. Learning how to shut down things that do not support you and how to stay open to things that do. That new spiritual hygiene, or I should say, talking about spiritual hygiene and the practices, the mindset, your daily codes that keep your field clean when you're surrounded by a whole bunch of confusion and just too many damn people. Whether you're walking into, a family gathering, even a group chat, or a grocery store full of strangers, this is about moving with your power, about engaging without absorbing, feeling deeply without drowning in it. Welcome to Blended Healing. We here today. We're going to talk about it. We sure are. We are definitely going to talk about it today. Ashe? All right. I used to have somebody I worked with, right? Total empath, but didn't know how to control it. Didn't know how. So in the business of service, you're going to hear all types of stories in the naked city, After a couple of people that she had to deal with and listen to all the stories and the horror stories that most people go through, she was absorbing so much stuff that her nerves were so shot that she was shaking. She couldn't even get the words out. Before she even started, I said, get up and go, leave. Because you got to be able to listen to these stories without absorbing all of that. And that's where we run into problems, because empaths sometimes don't know how to do that. They don't know how to flip the switch, and it's hard to do, It's something that you have to practice, something that it's learned in order to be able to deal with listening to things up and not absorbing them to the point that it shuts you down. That's what we're talking about. I'll be right back.
Days away, spell in the steam, peace in the flame. I call my power, speak my name. Sacred glow, I feel divine. Every drop's a blessing by design. Soap so rich, spray so clean, burning candles while I live my dream. Crystal charged, my spirit's high, anointed oil, now watch me rise. Not just a scent, it's essential. I stay tapped in with Jamaica essentials. Oils crafted by moonlight's kiss. Protection and
If I asked you, what is spiritual hygiene, really? Would you know what that is? How do you know if you need a spiritual cleanse? All right. When energy starts piling up, it shows up like attention, like distraction, short patience, that vague feeling that something's off, but there's no clear reason. Simple things get amplified. It's like when simple things get amplified. Conversations seem to be more of a task. Nothing huge has to happen, right? It just happens. It just starts to gain momentum as it goes. Interactions kind of like leave like a residue on you. People's tone, their body language, even the way they look at you, kind of like sticks. And over time, it starts feeling like extra pressure on you energetically. And that's when it's time to clear it. Your energy, like I said before, is sacred. So start acting like it. Nobody teaches you how to protect your energy. Not really. You don't learn it in school, not even at home sometimes. You learn it by trial and error, usually by getting drained and you're overwhelmed, you're misunderstood, or even dismissed. And by the time you realize what's happening, it's usually because something has already taken a lot out of you. This is the time where you need to make a decision to stop letting everything in and assuming everything deserves your full attention, and that you're supposed to take whatever is handed to you, whether it's emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. You see, your energy is yours. Point blank, period. That's it and that's all. And that means that you're not automatically available just because someone's in your space. If something keeps leaving you feeling off or disconnected from yourself, the situation is not normal. Even if you think it is. It's how it actually lands in your spirit and what it leaves behind, treating your energy as a no-go zone, like for real. It's how you handle the access. It's how you handle all of the access, every facet of it. You need more filtering and less explaining. Just because somebody's around you doesn't mean that they get access. The same thing goes for someone that's calling your phone or somebody that you used to be close to. Access is not automatic. It's not based on time, history, or proximity. If something doesn't feel good or feel right, or if you don't have the energy, that's the whole reason. Right there. You don't have to explain it or adjust yourself to meet other people's expectations. Just because you're being quiet or nice doesn't mean that you open. That's something people assume, and it could be wrong. You don't owe that kind of availability. You're allowed to sit things out, to hold your space, not engage just because it's happening around you. That's not being mean or anything. That's just being clear. This ideal that being available all the time means that you're a good person. Come on, man. That if you're around, you should be involved. Really? That's not how it works. Presence doesn't mean access. Access doesn't mean participation. Just because you're there doesn't mean that you need to plug into everything that's happening. You can be around and still decide not to engage. That's just you being responsible for your own energy. People confuse openness with obligation. They think that because you're listening, you're saying yes. That's not it. And you don't have to keep correcting people who expect you to go beyond what you're willing to do. I do believe, though, that you are responsible for teaching people how to treat you, though. You absolutely are. And you're also responsible for enforcing that if you desire to. You feel me? All right.
Sometimes you gotta fall back and let them lean on the ones they think so highly of. People will switch up on your ass in front of other people and then need you in private. Sometimes it's not the people who change, it's that shitty mask they got on that falls off. The strongest people is not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles that we know nothing about. That's strength for me. That's why I don't get too comfortable in any situation for real, because people and things change in a blink of my eye. For real though. I don't have no time in my life for inconsistency. You either fuck with me or you not. No in between, here and there, random type shit. Once you switch sides on me, you gotta stay there. Never forget who ignored you when you needed them, and never forget who helped you before you even had to ask. Anybody that gives up on you was never down with you in the first place. With your upper wish. So like I said, sometimes you gotta fall back and let them lean on the ones they think so highly of.
Remember I said that sometimes you need to learn how to filter over explaining. You don't need to explain why something doesn't sit right with you. You don't. You don't have to convince anyone if it doesn't work for you. That's it. You're allowed to say no. No is a complete sentence. For real. Without the backstory. Trying to change your mind. Splaining. I said splaining. Splaining has become a habit for people who aren't used to being heard the first time. The truth is that once you stop explaining everything, you start seeing what people were really after. Where they're looking for your energy or your agreement. To connect or to convince. Filtering means that you listen differently. You respond slower. You check with yourself first. You don't just jump to answer just because somebody asks. It's not about cutting people off. It's about not letting everything in. Sometimes you're just done. You've seen enough, you felt enough, you said enough. It doesn't mean that you dislike anyone. It just means that you're pulling back. There's this pressure to always leave with a soft exit, to over-clarify, to make sure that nobody misunderstands why you shut down. I've learned that that's not the way it is if you want to keep it a buck. But do you ever realize that silence is a boundary? I've learned that too. It's happened to me several times. And needing space is a response. You don't have to give people an emotional breakdown of every change that's going on in your life. Some things don't need to be announced. They just need to happen. Pulling back doesn't mean that you're cold. It just means that you're paying attention to what you've been feeling and doing something about it. The guilt kind of shows up when you've been trained to prioritize other people's comfort over your own capacity. And that's a fact. And when you're out of it, you're out. And that's a fact too. So be prepared for them to say that you've got an attitude, that you changed. They even might make it about them. If you're good with that, cool. If not, then bridge the conversation if you decide to do that. Most of the time, when you start doing what's right for you, someone's going to get uncomfortable. And that's not the signal to stop. That's the confirmation that you were overextending in the first place. Pulling back is not personal, but it's necessary. Not everybody deserves full access all the time. I've learned that. I really, really have. Let's just say that not everybody's energy is clean. And not every situation is worth being available for. It's not about revenge or proving a point either. It's about pacing yourself, your capacity, your peace. You start to realize that the more you over-explain, the more room people think that they have to argue. So what do? You stop explaining. You stop negotiating your needs like they were on the table for discussion. Sometimes the most grounded thing that you can do is to back up and move differently. Or, what I like to say, move accordingly. I got off the beaten path just a little bit. But this still is about your spiritual, empathic new guide. There's no entry without a vibe check. And that's what this still is about. I just went left a little bit. But we back. Because it still is about the same thing. You feel me? And for goodness sake, stop offering what drains you. We've already talked about what it looks like when your energy gets cloudy, when things stick to your aura that doesn't belong there. We've talked about pulling back, not explaining, setting access. That's just the foundation. This is now about what do you do before it gets that far. It's one thing to clean up after the fact. It's another to be protected walking in. There's a difference between constantly clearing and actually preserving. You start with intention. It might be moving slower on purpose to keep your energy close when there's a lot going on around you. Protection doesn't always have to look like armor. Sometimes it's just being unavailable to what doesn't feel right. When you're giving more than you can afford, it's not about what other people are doing. It's about what you keep offering, and you need to check where it's coming from. When the same person keeps showing up in your life with the same issue, the same conversation, the same story, and nothing changes, it's worth asking what part you're playing in that. Maybe you're trying to help, but it's not getting anywhere. You're showing up out of habit, not choice, guilt. Maybe it's just what you've always done. If you're constantly giving your time, your focus, and your emotional energy, and you walk away from the interaction feeling tired, unclear, or disconnected from yourself, something ain't right. You are recognizing where you've been overextended. The impact is that you feel depleted, and they feel unchanged. And there's nothing wrong with being supportive. But support without self-awareness turns into a cycle that pulls you out of alignment. That's when resentment starts. So start here. If you're offering energy, ask yourself, did they ask for it? Did I offer it from a clear place? Am I giving because I want to or because I feel like I have to? Am I expecting something back but not saying it? The goal is to be more honest about your capacity. You just don't have to stop saying yes when the truth is no. That's protection. That's hygiene. That's the difference between carrying people and being present with them. Ashe? All right. I'll be right back after this.
Light it slow, let the spirit rise. Lavish lights dancing in your eyes. Herbal healing flowing through my veins. Smoke of the ancestors calling my name. Every pull of prayer, every breath release. Lavish lights bring the body peace. Lavish lights burning soft and sweet. Chemical essentials where the spirit meets. Grounded in the smoke, lifted in the night.
I'm not going to keep you much longer. I know you got things to do today. I know we're supposed to be preparing for snow and all other kinds of BS. But, again, allow me to remind you that there's no entry without a vibe check. May I offer you a system for daily spiritual hygiene. You see, most people wait until they feel off to do something about it. They crash out, and then they reset. Then they get overwhelmed. Then they pull back. But energy doesn't just show up all at once. Spiritual hygiene is a practice, a set of moves you put into place before things get out of hand. It just needs to be consistent. You clean your space. You wash your body. You clear your feed. You have to do the same thing with your field. That's hygiene. You don't need an hour. You just need intention and repetition. Say, for instance, may I offer in the morning, before anything else, the phone, the scroll, the stopping, just stop and ask yourself, man, how do you feel right now? Not what do I have to do, just where am I at? That check-in sets the baseline. Then name your direction for the day. Something simple like, I'm not absorbing anything today. I'm not doing that. Set your intention by, my energy stays with me, and that's enough. During the day or midday, if you start feeling off, pause. Just break the loop. Step outside. Turn off the noise. Wash your hands. Walk away from the screen. 1 minute of disconnect is better than 5 hours of spiraling out. And at night, before you go to bed and before you knock out, wipe the day, mentally or physically. Doesn't have to be deep. Just what am I still holding on to that I didn't need to take until tomorrow? Point blank, period. Simple as that. Breathe. Shut it down. That's the reset. Don't get it twisted. You're going to miss days. Sometimes you won't feel like doing any of that. But that's not the point. The point is having a structure that brings you back to yourself when things start to pile on. Because you rather not wait until it is. That's the practice. That's the difference between managing energy and being managed by it. You got to hold your energy without apology. Holding your energy is about staying grounded in how you move, not adjusting every time something changes. You're not constantly available for things that don't line up with where you are at right now, at this moment. People are going to test it. People are going to test you, and they're going to learn you something, for real. It's going to happen. It's going to definitely happen. They're going to question it. They might even call it fake. That's projection. Let them think what they want. You here to protect what's real for you. You learned the hard way that not protecting your space doesn't win you anything. For real. It just leaves you trying to get yourself back. You're allowed to hold your energy without feeling bad. Being responsible. Let your presence speak. Let your silence mean something. That's not ego. That's alignment. And if they can't read the energy, let the door read it for them. For real. I want to leave you with this, my empathic people. Let's close it with a final rule book code. This is your final code for the empath's rule book. Know number one. Rule number one. Not everyone gets access. Rule number two. Not everything needs a response. Rule number three. Energy comes first. Alignment decides the rest. Number four. Silence is a decision, not a problem. Number five. Clarity doesn't need explaining. Number six. You don't need to match the room. Number seven. Presence isn't permission. Number eight. Peace is a standard, not a mood. Number nine. You don't carry what's not yours. And number 10. Hold your energy like it matters. Because it does. Ashe, that's it. I'm done. I said what I said. This is your new role. This is your new rule book and pass for 2026. I mean, may I offer? That's what we do, right? May I offer? No entry without a vibe check. Remember, spiritual hygiene. Sometimes you put a fence up around your garden, not to keep out the bad things, but to keep in the things that you love the most. And with that being said, be well, stay safe, Ashe, and deep bow. And I'll see you around when I got something to say. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Yo, get my watch hours up, man. I've been doing this grind for a long time. I need my watch hours up. They took like 300 of them. I need to get to that threshold. You feel me? I need you to come up in here and get these watch hours up for me. All right. Thank you very much. Be well, and I'll talk to you. Ashe.
They don't even knock. The wild thoughts don't knock. You're slipping like static in a dead room. Soft at first and louder than my breathing. Silence start feeling like company. And I hate how easy it is to listen. I ask myself real quiet, would it matter if I faded? Mind comes back quick with reasons. Heart comes back slow, still bleeding. I'm here, but some nights it feels like I'm only here on technicality. Exhibits of the past. Every door that closed soft. Every always that meant nothing. Every goodbye with no warning. They show up like evidence. Exhibit A, the past. Exhibit B, the ache. Exhibit C, the way I flinched when love sounds like footsteps leaving. Cold truth. If I disappeared tonight, would the world even bleed? Would morning notice I was missing? Or would the sun still rise like I never left? These wild thoughts spin in my chest, sharp as winter on my tongue. I'm not asking to be saved, I'm just tired of feeling undone. I don't want the ending, I just crave the quiet. A moment when my head stops screaming and my heart stops riot. People say stay, but they don't know the weight of staying. They don't know the nights we're breathing. Feels like negotiating. Cold truth. If I disappear tonight,